Hola, skinks. It's been a little while, hasn't it? How are you all doing tonight? We have the Multiversal Association of All Rat Kind here. Like I said, that is quite the name. I think I responded to one of your comments in the last video, so thanks for being here. And then Blake, welcome here tonight. Gonna be getting started shortly. You all are early here. Probably no one's expecting me because I haven't streamed for at least probably 3 or 4 weeks. I didn't have time to do it right before I went on vacation, and not only that, my internet had just started crapping out on me really bad. We had been streaming just fine all year. In fact, I was really proud of myself because I had such a streak going on with, you know, making sure I streamed every week, and Cox put an end to that in a real big hurry. I'll tell you what, it was a series of strange events, you know? My internet speed suddenly gets very slow. It stays that way for like a week or two, you know, because I'm trying to be kind, trying to give them some time in case there was something going on they needed to fix, but it stayed that way for like 2 weeks. I was about to leave on vacation. It was going to take me almost 30 hours to upload all my videos at the speed they were providing me, which was less than a tenth of what they said they were going to. And I filed a complaint with the Better Business Bureau on a Friday. And then on Monday, almost like magic, my upload speed was back. You know, it's almost like they just throttle you because they can and change it if they think they're going to get caught. I don't know. It's like this weird thing. Every time that happens to me, I make a complaint, and without a technician ever showing up, without them telling me anything's been fixed, all of a sudden the speed's back. Yeah, exactly. Ain't no meaning. It's almost like there's a monopoly. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway, it's fixed now, and I'm happy. Thanks for being here, by the way, Ain't No Meaning, and thank you for being a channel supporter. If y'all see anybody that are rocking a gold, silver, or white Carthage shield next to their name, it's because they are a channel member. I think in many countries you're able to support the channel using one of the options down by the chat. Of course, you don't have to, but just calling that out to make sure I thank them. Anyway, yeah, ask them for a discount for a month. I did. They never responded to that part of my complaint. So I know, again, it's almost like they have a monopoly or something. But yeah, they didn't respond to that part of my complaint. But my speed was back. It's kind of like they don't want some outside or government entity to come investigate their records. It's almost like someone's gonna find something that shouldn't be there. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. So they fix it, but yeah. Yeah, anyway, internet aside, let's talk about more fun things. Chameleon skinks and they're just regular ones. Yeah, there you go. Multiversal Association of Rat Kind. Hey, you're all skinks, though, and thanks for being here tonight. We're skinks tonight. This is the only camp... I wanted to do multiplayer battles really bad, but I didn't give people any notice that I was going to be streaming. And so I wanted to make sure that people kind of got used to the idea that I'm back, and that I'm going to be streaming again before I do a multiplayer stream, because I want enough people to join. So I think this Thursday, assuming the timing works out right, at the same time on Thursday, I really want to dive into the multiplayer with the new characters, so I need you all to come join me on Thursday. Baby Leg says, Cox sucks, get AT&T. I had AT&T fiber 10 years ago, and my upload speed was better 10 years ago than it is now. But that was at a brand new apartment complex in a different city, and fiber here is like islands. They only put it in like a couple of places, so I mean there's no good option. But AT&T here is actually even worse than Cox is, if you can believe it. I know it's hard to believe, but they're actually worse up here. But says the new place is serviced by AT&T agent. What I didn't tell them was that I already had AT&T. I let her throw a pitch. Her offer was 15% higher. Yikes, that hurts, Fuzzy Wuzzy Boom Boom. Yeah, you gotta love that. Hey, we got a special offer, only 15% more than the normal price. Oh man, it's like buying a car. Buying a car is pretty similar. The internet service stuff, it's just like, you dread it because you know you're going to get ripped off. It's just like, how much am I going to get ripped off? And how much am I going to put up with, right? Anyway, you gotta love it. Anyway, thank you everybody. Killscribe, hey, thank you, sir, for all of the kill lists. They are fantastic. So thank you for keeping up with that. You're amazing, Killscribe. Help me give Killscribe some thanks for keeping up with those kill lists. He's spectacular. Anyway, let's get into the campaign. So we are ready to jump in and keep things going. I love that I'm not the only one. Hey, thank you, by the way, for, you know, helping me not feel like the crazy one who is put out with my ISP constantly. I mean, but it's not just my ISP. I think it's like every telecom company in the entire world. Like, is there a good telecom company? Anyway, let's get in here. So here we go. Let's see what we were up to. I was on a little mission down here. Okay, we had attacked the Skaven, and I was trying to lure them into an ambush here outside the Golden Tower. They didn't initially take my bait, which really surprised me because with the Serpent Coast being kind of wide open like this, I definitely expected the Skaven to just go for it, because this is like a fine cheese here to the Skaven AI, you know, like they have to go for the unguarded settlements. So anyway, Stinger Marine, thanks for being here tonight too. Baby Legs, I got to your comment earlier. Blake, I think I called you out earlier. Thanks for being here, everybody. And Fuzzy Wuzzy Boom Boom, good to have you here too. And if you're watching this afterwards, thanks for watching it afterwards too. And for those of you who do watch these streams afterwards, and this will be in the playlist with the other episodes, thank you for being patient, you know, and just like skipping the part where I'm doing the introduction. It is a live stream. I'm going to talk to people. I have 2 other series. I'm not going to live stream these all the time, so I just asking those people who are watching this afterwards to bear with me, and thank you for putting up with the slightly different format that we do here. I love doing these live streams. They're really fun for me, and hopefully they're fun for the people I interact with. And if you are watching this afterwards, try and join us live sometime. We'd love to have you. We would love to have you amongst us. All right, so let's see. I can proudly say, again, to anybody watching this afterwards, that I have probably the only chat on YouTube that isn't toxic. Like, I'm very proud of the people who come and join my events, because I swear we have like the only non-toxic internet community in chat that I've ever seen. Hopefully it stays that way. I probably just jinxed it, but it is pretty fantastic. So yeah, here we go. I think I need to end a turn probably. We have these missions from the old ones. There's 3 of them, no, 4 of them. Have to defend a settlement here, and it's close by. We could actually go complete that one right now. Ain't No Meaning says, love the Tarox campaign. Also the first time I've ever finished a campaign before you. Yeah, I really like the new Beastmen campaign. You all can tell me what you think, both the folks watching afterwards and the folks here live. What do you think of the changes to the Beastmen campaign? I think they're pretty good. Like, I find myself pretty thoroughly enjoying Beastmen campaign right now. Big Crusher says, I'm trying to remember your usual, hey, YouTube, what the crap's going on? It's something like that. Yep, that is it. Big Crusher. I usually say what the crap's going on. I don't always do it, but that was definitely, like, back in the day, I think I just said it all the time. So, this should be pretty... Oh, cool, sweet. We get to hunt some mammoths and some chariots and stuff. It's gonna be pretty easy, but let's go kill them with our chameleon skinks. This will be entertaining. Fuzzy Wuzzy says, oh, we can get toxic air real quick. Anybody who plays Balthasar is a Chad. Yeah, look at those snobs who play Balthasar. Like, especially those idiot YouTubers who play a Balthasar all-gun campaign. I mean, what a freaking sack, you know? Oh, wait, that's me. There we go. I'll be toxic on myself. How about that? Multiversal Association says, I don't have Silence and Fury yet, but really excited for playing as Oxyotl. Yeah, I think it's a good DLC. I think most people were probably more excited for the Beastmen side than they were the Lizardmen side, but I enjoy Oxyotl a lot. Mostly because his campaign is just chock full of fighting. And that's my favorite kind of campaign. I love campaigns that are just really battle heavy, and if you're playing as Oxyotl, you get a lot of battles. And for me, it makes it a very satisfying campaign If you're the kind of person who doesn't like having to deal with that, then it, yeah, it probably won't be your favorite. But anyway, for me, the Oxyotl campaign is very nice. I enjoy it a great deal. Blake says all gun campaigns are the worst. Aren't they? I mean, what kind of crazies even do something like that? Like that idiot HeirofCarthage or something. Oh, it's like play. Okay, Ain't No Meaning says it's like the guy at the clay pigeon range with the hand engraved over under. I've never wanted an over under, but if I got one, it would be hand engraved. Don't you know? I prefer auto loaders myself, but I guess the over under has a little more class, huh? I don't usually get to watch air streams because I live in the UK. It's 2 a.m. here. Well, thanks, Becky. Thanks for joining us. And appreciate the comments recently you've left on other videos, too. I've seen your comments, so thanks for the support and joining us, even though it is very, very late into the day or early into the day, I guess, for you, however we want to say it. So do appreciate it. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna focus fire this mammoth. We should be able to kill it really quick. We got some insane skirmishing power here, but we're getting chased by a bunch of trolls, so I'm gonna have to fall out of there for a sec. And chariots. Troll in the dungeon. Alright, so the skirmishing is going good. Look at that, we've already killed the whole mammoth off. That's how powerful the skirmishing contingent of this army is. It is pretty obscene. Alright, we just got dumped on by a few other forces here, but shouldn't last too long. Keep blocking these guys up. Croxy's out here, help deal with the skin wolves. Alright, yeah, these guys are attacking my chameleon stalkers, and when they get busy, even for 1 second, I mean, just look at the amount of fire we're going to be laying down on them. And the Troglodyte is also, oh my gosh, it's like a fireworks show going off. It's beautiful. I really do like the different colored and different types of ammunition Oxyotl get. I mean, it feels really fun to use. It is very entertaining. Give trait this bad attacker. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've watched my channel much, but bad attacker would be appropriate trait for me. I make so many micro mistakes. Pretty colors, that's right. We're here for the pretty colors, folks. Hey, speaking of, I don't know, I don't have a huge crowd here, but if anybody's watching this back afterwards as well, I'm going to be starting a Rome 2 Seleucid campaign here soon. We voted on it before I went on vacation. That campaign's going to start soon. I'm looking for mods. The DEI mod is, of course, really good. And I know I've used mods from one of its creators before. I think it was Dresden who did a lot of work on it. And it's really good, but it's like a whole other game. And I don't have time to learn it before I play the campaign. And so I really don't want to use the DEI mod. I looked around, like, does anybody right offhand know of any, like, mods that are good for the Seleucids? I mean, I don't have to play with mods. There's a few I know of that I'm going to use. Like, I know there's mods that improve the pike units slightly, like in terms of the way they behave. But I'm trying to look for, like, some good, maybe something that adds, like, some cool, unique units. I mean, the Seleucids already have a pretty decent roster. So again, is Radius any good? Are there others out there? Like, I don't technically really want, like, an overhaul that totally changes the game like DEI does, because again, I don't have time to learn that mod. If that makes any sense. And I don't want to play, like, I'm not going to play it totally vanilla. There's a few mods I can think of that just change small things that, ooh, we got a Talisman of Preservation. That's really good. So, like, for instance, I have a mod, like I mentioned, that makes the pikes behave a little better. I have a mod that changes to, like, 4 turns per year, or just, like, lots of other little things that we can do to make it better, but I was wondering if anybody knows of any particularly good mods for the Seleucids that, you know, it's kind of like a must, you know, like, hey, Aird, whatever you do, don't forget this one, you know, like, so that's the kind of stuff I'm out looking for right now. Let's see, I'm gonna go with Predatory Fighter here for Oxyotl. Betrayer mod is good. What's that one like? Betrayer mod, I haven't heard of that one. Alright, I think I saw a comment from Killscribe who was saying, is it possible name to add? Yeah. I don't want to rename the Oracle of Sacred Plaques because I think it has kind of like name for the Lore Master is Sotek. Who would be the best, like, here. I'm going to take one of these special chameleon skinks. I'm going to do the one with this slow death ammunition, Killscribe. This is going to be Killscribe's chameleons. There you go. Got you a unit here. Oh, I forgot to turn on my stuff over here. I got to turn on my alert box. Sorry. I didn't have it on, and Stinger Marine sent something through. So sorry, Stinger Marine. It's not going to pop up on screen. I did just turn it on. Stinger Marine, thanks for the 5 on the donation. Thank you, man. He says, hey, have you ever thought about doing a breakdown of the unit stats? I have hundreds of hours, but still barely understand them. I've done some in the past, Stinger Marine. What kind of stuff would you want help with? And I'm more than happy. I mean, I probably need to do one anyway because we have some new units in the game, and I could cover some of those, but are you talking about like a breakdown of how the unit stats work and how to interpret them? Let me know a little more what you're thinking, and I will do my best. But thank you so much, Stinger Marine. Appreciate you being here all the time, and thanks for supporting the channel with your constant viewership and commenting and the 5 tonight. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Let's finish up Fireball. Stream has only been going for a little while, Daniel. Thanks for joining us tonight. We've only been streaming for, well, I don't know how long. There might be an uptime command. I don't remember. YouTube should show me that type of information, but it's not. So... Notice me, Air? Well, thanks, Rank and File. I did notice you. I've noticed you. Thanks for being here tonight. When you come join a live stream, I do my best to notice you. Only just got home from work. Well, there you go. Work's done for the day. Enjoy some downtime here. But yeah, thank you everybody for being here. Without, having anything planned here, I really appreciate folks showing up on short notice. Ah, the ambush worked. We finally lured Queek into the ambush, so here we go. Alright, let's fight this battle. Let's get a fight going. Battle of the Golden Tower. That Queek Headtaker. I mean, Queek has got to be... I mean, unless they've added some stuff to him that really makes it better, he has got to be one of the most boring lords in all of Warhammer 2 right now. I don't know, maybe they'll put some lord in Warhammer 3 that beats him, but like him and Tretch, like, how unfun is that? A lord on foot that never gets any kind of cool mount. I mean, do they have anything that really makes up for that at some point? Queek to me seems intensely boring. Like, intensely boring. That's just me, but... there are some lords that are on foot that are kind of fun, like Alethanar, Marcus Wolfheart, Oxyotl. I mean, even Gorok, like, he's a little boring, but at least the dude is like an absolute truck of a unit when you use him, right? So, again, I can kind of get it. Hey, Blake, thanks for the 5, man. He says, hey, if you ever want to do a Halloween-themed series, I have a game for you, Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army Trilogy. That is quite a name there, Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army Trilogy. Very fun and spooky. We do need to do a Halloween theme. We need, yeah, maybe we could do that, or maybe we could do like a big Vermintide thing too. I'll check it out. Thanks for letting me know, Blake. Thanks for the 5, and thank you also for always being such a big supporter of the channel. Definitely appreciate you. All right. I kind of want my Croxies. I'm gonna run them over here with the Stalkers. There we go. There had better be cowboys and aliens in that game as well. Hey, if it's got Nazi zombies, you know there's cowboys and aliens, alright? Blake, thanks for the 5 again. Thank you also, Sting and Marine. I was looking for another message from you, Sting. Okay, he says, I guess offhand, what does armor do? And what's the difference between melee attack and weapon strength? Ah, good question. How about I address it a little bit now? And maybe I'll try and make a video out of it, but good question. So, armor, and again, I don't understand perfectly mathematically how these apply, but I have an understanding of how they function, right? Like a lot of things in the Total War engine are kind of like a dice roll of sorts, and it's based off of these numbers. And for instance, armor, I think, is a value, and again, I don't perfectly understand how it mathematically applies to everything, right? But armor is a value, and the higher it is, the more protection it offers you from certain types of damage, right? So, and again, I don't remember exactly how the number plays in, but the higher it is, the more it's going to protect you. And let's say that someone has a weapon strength, and you can see here the base weapon damage and the armor piercing weapon damage. It says armor piercing is always applied. It says base can be blocked by armor, right? So what the armor does is, whether it's a missile attack or a melee attack, there is a possibility that some of that gets blocked by armor if it's non-armor piercing damage. Whereas if you land a hit and you have AP damage, it's going to get applied, if that makes sense. So that's armor. Now, melee attack is basically like your chance to hit something, right? So the higher it is, the higher your chance of hitting something. And then melee damage is the damage that you apply if you score that hit. And again, we just talked about how armor might augment that. Now, of course, on the flip side, melee defense is your chance it's basically your chance of being hit. Like it kind of talks about it right here. It won't protect you from missiles, but melee defense, if it's really high, for instance, I have 67 melee defense on these Chameleon Stalkers. If something only has 20 melee attack, they are not going to land a lot of hits on my unit. So it's going to make it very difficult for them to even land a hit. Imagine it being like a skill level almost for your unit. It's how skillful they are at protecting themselves from an enemy unit hitting them, if that makes sense. So hopefully that helps out a little bit, Stinger Marine, and people can add into it if they will. But yeah, melee defense won't protect you from missiles, but it will certainly help a pretty good deal when you get into that melee. And melee defense actually makes a pretty large difference, in fact, in how much damage you take while in a fight. It makes a pretty significant difference. All right. Yeah, again, there's people who know exactly how the mathematics work behind these numbers. That I do not know. But that is a general understanding, what I just told you, of how those things work. With melee defense, obviously the higher it is, it's much, much better for you. I need to get over here and kill all these warp fire things. And I'm over here bombarding the storm vermin because that is going to actually be a pretty stiff fight for my units over here. These Ratling guns are going to hurt a lot too, so I might have to start shooting them. Got to try and finish off these warp fire throwers too. Oxyotl, I'm just kind of letting him tank at the moment, which is honestly a little risky, because he is not like a uber powerful unit, but I do have this Comet, and I can probably clear that out. Go attack these Ratling guns. Move my Bastillodons a bit closer, trying to get better shots. Okay, my Chameleon Skinks cleaned up the Warp Fire throwers. Yeah, higher number is definitely good when it comes to almost all the stats. I would think all of them. Is there a stat that's worse from a bigger number? I'm not aware of one. Yeah, I'm not aware of a stat that would be, oh boy, that Comet really cleaned house. I was fighting all these units there. Look, we got 187 kills. Let's give our units a little help over here. It's a pretty big fight going on. Kind of have these guys clean that up. I'm gonna get a little bit of damage resistance going, and I need to help out with this blob over here. Ooh, not bad. Got a pretty good little breath attack off there. So Queek is still here. Obviously he's fairly tanky. Like that I get about Queek, but I don't know, I'm not terribly impressed with like any excitement that Queek might bring to the table. Well, hopefully that helped you, Stinger Marine. But yeah, maybe that would be good at some point. Like, you know, with Warhammer 3 coming up, maybe that would be good to make a video and just... I could maybe get in touch with Creative Assembly and have them, like, you know, kind of help me write something up to explain those, and then make a video out of it to help explain to new players before the new game comes out. Because it's definitely helpful to know all that. And honestly, in Warhammer, it's a pretty straightforward system. Troy has the same kind of statistics, but for me gets even more confusing sometimes, just because Troy has a lot different bonuses for units that you're not used to seeing on Warhammer, and then it's also got just different facets to it, like with terrain and stuff. Like there's a lot more stuff that gets applied, like speed debuffs or penalties and stuff in certain terrain. Past Total War games used to have a lot more to do with terrain as well. Warhammer doesn't seem very terrain intensive, other than in just trying to get your units good line of fire. Oh my gosh, Queek he is a pin cushion over here. Look at this. Can't even see the guy. Warhammer 3's interface looks better. It does look better. Even with this announcement for Troy that came out, you know, I've been playing some Troy just to try and get myself ready, and golly, man, Total War Troy, say what you will about it, because I know it's not been a insanely popular title amongst Total War players. I'm really glad it's coming to Steam, by the way, which is where I wish it would have been the entire time, and I'm really also glad they're going to add mythology stuff to it, because again, that's what it should have been the minute that it released. Any case, all that aside, Troy runs way smoother than Warhammer 2, which is amazing because the engine for Troy was built off of Warhammer 2. Like, they are essentially the same game engine. Like, Troy was built up, it's an improved version of Warhammer 2's engine. And the textures in Troy are so much better. The map design in Troy is so much better. And so I have high hopes that Warhammer 3 will really be an improvement both visually, the way that it runs with your system, and more than one way. So I have a lot of hope that it will be very good. And I mean, this game is really good, even with its flaws. So I have a hard time imagining that CA could really bungle Game 3. Now, I'd hate for them to prove me wrong there, but again, I have a hard time imagining how they could really screw up at this point. Shino says, I might be mistaken, HeirofCarthage, but did you mention that you are, in your recent video, you're collecting minis? I am. I have a small army of Stormcast Eternals that I got from a box set called the Thunderstrike Brotherhood. I've been painting it, and I'm very much looking forward to kind of a reboot of fantasy battles that Games Workshop supposedly has underway. I'm assuming it might even be kind of timed along the release of Warhammer 3, because I'd really like to get more minis. And it's not that I dislike Age of Sigmar or anything. Like, I can see myself having fun with it, and I bought the Stormcast army. But at the same time, like, I play this game, and I would really like to have the factions that are in this game as a miniature. And some of those exist in Age of Sigmar, and I'm going to get some of them, and I'm excited about it. But yeah, I am collecting miniatures, and in fact, it's still a little ways out on my channel, not a long ways, but I'm getting together the equipment and I'm doing some practice, and I'm going to actually start making videos about the miniatures that I get and paint, and try and give people some tips, because I'm a beginner. I feel like I've gotten a decent handle on it for a beginner. I'm definitely not a pro, but I want to help other people see what it's like and hopefully convince other people to get into it, because it is really fun. And anyway, yeah, so that's what I was thinking. WWW says, what's the time for me? I am on US Central Time, so it is 20:34 for me, or 8:34 p.m. Gina says, that's dope. I've recently started watching the play on Tabletop Channel. Yep, I watch some of those every now and then to kind of see how the game is played, because I still don't understand it entirely. Right now, I'm just painting and collecting the miniatures, which is quite fun in and of itself. But yes, the intent is that eventually I would learn how to actually play on Tabletop, and then maybe Mrs. Air and I could make some videos playing games against each other and stuff. Or, you know, like there's another Total War YouTuber. Well, he does other games too, but he's in this area. His name's H for Havoc. I could do games with him. And then also there's like a little hobby store that sells some of this stuff. And I'm sure that they would think it's cool if I came down and made a video at their store, and they have places set up to play the game as well. And I'm sure they would love for that. So yeah, 24-hour clock, gang. I love 24-hour clock. That's all I do. I don't do 12-hour because there's 24 hours in a day. It's too arbitrary. That's just the engineer in me liking things to be, I say liking things to be precise. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect, or that, you know, I always get things like super precise. I'm sure you can find things that I do, you'd be like, huh? Are you sure this guy's an engineer? What kind of garrison we got at the Golden Tower? Just a couple of rat scum. What? I'm gonna kill off my units? I mean, they do have double warp lightning. No, triple warp lightning. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I'm not messing with these guys right now. Triple warp lightning. No thanks. I bet you round pi to 3. Hey now. Engineers do like simplifying things, so if you're a math major, yeah, you may not like it. But yeah, I do like to simplify things. That's hilarious. I bet you round pi to 3. Oh man, I love it. We caught a lot of flack when I was in school back in the day from math majors, because they didn't like the way that engineers, like our version of math was like more scenario specific and real world focused than, say, like academic or all-encompassing as, say, like a math major. So like they would be solving things in kind of like a more, what's the right word for it? I don't know how to explain it. So like when we would do math, it would be very specific to this engine that we're looking at right here in this scenario, and ergo that takes away this variable. We now know that it's this, and you know, like this, and so that's how we would always do math. Whereas math majors were always doing things in a much more, the word escapes me. Clearly, I'm not an English major either, or language, because I can't even think of the word I want right here. So, good stuff. I do want this renowned and feared. That would be nice to have. There's a lot of other things I want, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this one. Abstract, yes, that's exactly what I was looking for, Daniel. Thank you. Abstract math versus applied math. That is exactly what I was trying to do. Theoretical, yet another good way to say it, Edgar. Yeah, ours was definitely a real-world applied situation, whereas obviously as a math major, you need to understand the theory and the abstract behind it all. Like, you've got to be able to explain more behind it, right? Thank you. Appreciate you all stepping in with the words that I could not get into my mouth. All right. Have you ever played around with Rakarth? If so, what do you think of him? I just started a Vortex campaign with him. It's super easy to get powerful monsters. Yeah, Corey, I've played Rakarth. I think we did a Rakarth campaign all the way through, and some of it I streamed. I really like playing as Rakarth, and the monsters kind of give him a unique flavor versus the other Druki lords that you're going to play, so I really enjoyed Rakarth. I think he was actually some of the best free content that we've gotten in a Total War title so far. I think he was very good free content. And honestly, Emmerich was pretty solid free content as well. And then this time around, Thorek. I mean, if you own Game 1, granted, if you just bought Warhammer 2 and you don't own the Dwarves, it wouldn't technically be 3 with Thorek. But if you own Game 1, I think Thorek is also some really awesome free content. I've been pretty happy. Like, sometimes I think CA is... and I'm not saying, like, they should change it, but, like, sometimes they're kind of, like, too nice with free content, and that's good. That's a good thing. I think it shows goodwill on their part. Right? Some of their free content, like Tretch, for instance, probably a lot less exciting, in my opinion, versus some of the others, but I think Alethanar was free content as well, and he's a pretty cool one, so... High-level math majors don't do numbers. Yeah, I know they were doing a lot less numbers than us, that's for sure. And that is for sure. Why doesn't the Hunts Marshal's expedition get the option to capture Bastillodons? They could mount a Hellstorm. Oh, dude, that would be sick, Blake. That's actually a really good idea. CA, please. Like, Blake just got you a money-making idea right there. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea, Blake. Dang, man, I hadn't thought of that. That would be pretty cool. Like, mount some kind of Empire artillery piece on the back of it. And just to make it, like, a little more interesting, maybe there's, like, the odd chance that if it gets into melee, it kind of goes berserk a little easier than it does with the little lizardmen, because the humans just don't, you know, possess that type of control over those... That would be really interesting, Blake. My favorite free content is HeirofCarthage's Oxyotl series. Well, thanks, Multiversal Association of Ratkind. I'm glad you all enjoy it. Yep, it is all free content. That is true. All right. Steal some tech. Ooh, there we go. Nice thieving. The Hammer of Witches, but on a Bastillodon? I mean, that would be pretty nuts. That'd be pretty nuts. In a good way. Well, I mean, not if you're playing against it, but if you're playing with it, then yes, that would be pretty fantastic. Go ahead and enter an ambush again. I need to get a drink. Let me delve into my skinky drinky here. Wow. So, Morphinrot just did not learn the lesson that Queek should have taught him with his death here. The AI just can't help itself, though. I told you people, like, they can't help it. They are drawn. It is magnetic. They are pulled towards these unguarded settlements. Gelt's reflective teeth on a Bastillodon. Now there you go. I like that idea. It's not much replenishment. Let's go ahead and do this one. Yeah, the Skaven have been pulling some pretty low IQ moves in this campaign and my Thorek campaign. But, I mean, it is the Skaven, so it's kind of almost thematic, isn't it, for them to be kind of making some rather foolish mistakes in their schemes and stuff, or I don't know, is that not how the lore goes? Like, I feel like that sounds like what Skaven would be like in lore, you know, like kind of making bungling things right in the middle of some complex scheme or something. But again, I don't know. I didn't read a lot of lore, so I could be wrong. I feel like that would be a good feel for the Skaven if that's not what they are in the official lore. Skaven are very sneaky, but also very silly. Okay, yeah, see, that's kind of the way I would imagine them, too. It would make for an interesting story and an interesting, like, background for the Skaven. Like, they have all this crazy tech, they're very sneaky and schemy, and there's a ton of them, but then, like, you know, they make some kind of, like, boneheaded mistake or something in the process that's almost kind of comical in the end. Like, I could see that being like a real motif for the Skavens. Ooh, we get some nice income from this building. And we get some Temple Guard garrison. There was another one here too, another special building. This one puts solar engines in the garrison. There we go. Solar engine in the garrison. Blake! Blake, you are far too kind, man. I don't know that I deserve kindness here. Thanks for 5. Donated 10 tonight. Thank you, Blake. He says Luminarch on a Dread Saurian. Now that would be a sight. Now, if they put the Luminarch thing in the Dread Saurian's mouth, okay, so that every time he opens his mouth, you're getting Luminarch shooting. Now that would be a unit. So CA, let's get on top of that one. Blake, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. You're far too kind to me tonight. I'll do my best to make this as entertaining for you all as I can. Appreciate folks who support. And when I say folks who support, obviously I'm very particularly thankful, you know, for folks like Blake, and they were putting money out there. I take that very seriously and try and make sure that I give you all tons of content when people are supporting like that. But hey, don't think that if you're watching tonight and you're here, you're pitching in the comments, you're putting like, all of that is support too. So thank you. Don't ever sit back and think that if you're here and you're participating that you're not supporting me, because that does support me and I appreciate all of it. So thank you. If I could mod, I would make this. Maybe we should talk to Warner, Blake. Are you in my Discord? I don't know. There's a couple people in my Discord who know how to do like some basic modding. I honestly have no idea. I wish I knew more about it too, but I just don't. Sotek's tail and trail, sorry, in Slatland. Blake says you deserve the cash because you bring me joy in vast quantities. Well, I'm glad you feel that way. I definitely, I would like to be humble in the sense that like I feel this way. Like I don't feel like I deserve all that, but I'm glad you all enjoy it to that extent. And if that is what you enjoy, then as folks support me like you do, I do my best to try and keep pouring effort into bringing this content your way, right? So like tonight, for instance, I'd already put up a couple of videos, and I'm sure I could have easily just said, hey, you know, I've already done my work on YouTube today, I'm just going to chill for the rest of the night. And I was like, you know what, no, I really want to stream. Like, it's fun. I haven't had a stream in a while, and a lot of people enjoy the stream, so I want to go stream. And so that's why I'm here. And like I said, I'm not here because, oh, I hope I come here and people give me a bunch of money. No, I come here because you all enjoy it. I'm not here to try and like solicit a bunch of money out of you all or anything else like that. I come here, and a lot of nights we don't have any of that, and that's fine. Again, I'm definitely not holding it against someone. We don't do it. So I'm here because it's fun and because you all enjoy it. Okay, you're out of cares on Discord? Awesome. Yep, thanks for being a part of that too then. Yeah, Warner knows a little bit about modding. We could ask him and see what he thinks. I don't know. And then there's a couple other people, like I think Regina knows a little bit about modding. So Blake will throw the money until he gets the Dread Sara arc. Hey, if I could make it for him, I would, because I would want that for myself. Don't you know? Don't you know I would want that for myself? We're probably going to get attacked while I'm gone. But I've got to take care of some of these missions of the old ones before we run out of time. I need to be able to warp back over here too. So I kind of need to... It's the casualty replenishment. Let's tear this down. Or no. We could leave this here because we've already spent it. I could go ahead and make a sanctum here. And then in the golden tower in our sanctum, we can drop in this capstone of Teapot, which is going to let me travel back here after a few turns. So we can get back here easier. So that is what I'm going to do. Here, let's name something for Blake here too. Charles, thank you for the 5. Thanks so much, Charles. No message there, but thank you. Really appreciate the support, Charles. Let's call this one Blake's Solar Blast or Blake's Solar Flare. There we go. And get in here. I'll put this in here for you, Charles. There's Charles Crocs. Alright, so thanks, Charles. Appreciate it. Very much appreciate your support. How long have you been watching the channel? It says donations for the Dread Sara arc. Thanks, man. Hey, I'll tell you what. If we can make the Dread Sara arc, I'll make it happen. Alright. Good stuff. Alright, I need to teleport out and go fight some of these missions. So let's head up and take on this one first. 3 blessed horned ones. Wow, that could be really nice in our next army, and then we get a nice treasury boost too. Alright, I do need to wait a turn to have some movement points to go after this guy, but we will go after him nonetheless. We steal some more tech? Yes, we can. We can thieve all day. Let's see. Nice Crocs, Charles, but are they wearing shoes? They're wearing socks. Socks with Crocs? Hey, do you all do that? Does anybody here wear socks with the Crocs? I don't have any Crocs. I have probably something kind of similar. But, let's see here. Scrying pool. I thought we built the scrying pool, did we not? Flaming Heron, hey HeirofCarthage in chat. Nice to be able to catch one of your streams live again. Well, thanks, Flaming Heron. Thanks for being here tonight. It's great to have you here. Appreciate everybody who comes by and shows up, especially when it's unplanned like this. I am planning on going back to a roughly Tuesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. U.S. Central streaming schedule again. Obviously my internet crap out again. I surely hope not. Like, I really hope not. And then my life does throw curveballs at me sometimes. Like, sometimes, too. I didn't think I was going to be able to stream tonight. That's why I didn't put this one up ahead of time. I had some meetings before this. They ended early, and so it worked out great. And I was able to get here to stream. Did that turd run away from me? Is that who I'm trying to fight? Who are we going after here? No, we're going after the Slaughterhorn tribe. That was a different guy running off there. Okay, whatever. Where's the Slaughterhorn idiots at? See any Slaughterhorn? Like, I saw it earlier, but I don't see them now. Huh? Where the heck are they? Are they in a hidden encampment, maybe? Yeah, there they are. Alright, sneaky beastmen here. Look at them. Sneaky, sneaky. But anyway, yeah, I do plan to do streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays. One of those I'll probably most weeks be trying to do Total War multiplayer, and with Troy coming to Steam, I'd really like to get into some of the Troy multiplayer some nights too. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm gonna auto-resolve this one, it's not much to see. Sorry, Beastman, but Air just totally disrespected you. Sorry, not sorry. A meeting ending early sounds like a fantasy game I haven't played. I know, right? Ain't no meeting. It is rare, but when it happens, it is fantastic. I wish I could steal the whole Dos Equis thing and say I don't do meetings often, but when I do, I prefer they end early. But unfortunately, I do meetings way too often, and they do not often end early. Yeah, they do not often end early. I'm gonna go ahead and start moving this direction. How stable are these places to defend themselves? Not great, but not bad. Let's buff up some extra growth while we're at it. Get some good public order. Improve our geomantic pylon. Speaking of, let's take a look at the web. The web is pretty bad. Doing what I can to improve it, but it's not very good at the moment. So I'm sure they lead to massive productivity gains. Yeah, they do. I mean, meetings always ended early. Everybody would be a lot more productive. Far off being ready to take on the Dark Elves? I don't think so, Flaming Heron. I mean, we could probably fight them now. I'd like to have my second army ready to go before I do. But we could probably take them on now if we got the right circuit. Like, assuming they didn't just like totally swamp me with like 5 or 6 armies at once. They could, technically. But if they don't do that, I would feel pretty confident that we've got it. AI is not always very good. And that's, again, we've had discussions in the past on my videos. In fact, there was a discussion in my Discord not long ago where some people were talking about how they actually kind of like the arbitrary difficulty where the AI gets buffed because they're like, well, the AI wouldn't be any good if you took that away, and I like having a challenge. Well, I guess my counter to that would be this. Like, you think about just that one thing there, what I just said. Like, I play this game a lot, and it's very rare for the AI to throw multiple stacks at me all at once. It does happen occasionally, but even a lot of times when the AI can, they don't. And by not doing that, they make it considerably easier for the player to survive. And that is one way, for instance, that rather than just giving the AI arbitrary stat buffs, when you up the difficulty, aggression should change significantly with the AI. So, like, if they declare war on you and you're playing on Legendary, they don't just declare war and think about it. They come at you with everything they got in a coordinated assault. And that, for instance, would make the game considerably more challenging without having to give the AI any arbitrary stat changes that make it to where certain... And part of the reason I don't like the stat changes method is because it totally defeats... Like, so for instance, when you give units extra melee defense and leadership, it makes melee units less valuable to the player, and it then forces the player to start spamming single entity monsters, missiles, and magic, because those things don't suffer the same type of downside to all that extra melee defense and leadership. And so it changes the way that the player has to play the game, and it makes it a lot more myopic. Like, there's not as many options. And so that's why I don't like CA doing the game that way. I think they should get rid of the arbitrary stat buffs, or at least turn it into a slider that the player controls, and it is outside of the difficulty setting. I think the difficulty setting should be more about how the AI behaves towards the player, rather than just giving them arbitrary buffs. Maybe you should give them a little extra money and stuff like that, because it is pretty difficult to get the AI to make smart decisions sometimes with their, you know, buildings and stuff. That I get. That would be a little harder to program. But programming them to be aggressive does not seem like that would be very difficult. I'm not a programmer, so maybe I'm completely wrong, but you all tell me what you think. So, like, for instance, for any of you who have ever watched Legend of Total War, you know, he's always talking about how you can cheese the AI and do all this cheese stuff, and basically what he's doing is he's reacting to what the creative assembly makes the game do, right? So he's going out and min-maxing off of the decisions that they've made. And so if you go make the decision that I'm going to give all these units arbitrary high leadership and high melee defense, well, I'm not, and then so he's going to turn around and say, okay, well, the min-max thing to do then is I'm not going to fight them where their melee defense makes any difference. Melee defense doesn't work against missiles, so I'm just going to spam missiles. And so he'll go do stuff like that, and it makes total sense, right? But if you're into min-maxing and you really enjoy that, then that might be kind of fun. But for like a player like myself, for instance, I don't enjoy that. Like, I don't find it enjoyable at all. In fact, I don't like playing the game that way. Now, I don't mind doing it every now and then because it's kind of fun to be like, okay, yeah, hey, look, I beat this campaign on Legendary. You know, I went and put up with it once and did it and beat the campaign, but as a general rule, I'm going to be playing multiple campaigns. I like my armies to be a little bit crazier, a little more thematic, like a little more, you know, I don't know, just do my thing, right? I don't want to have my army decision be made for me just because of the way that CA programmed the game on the higher difficulty, right? Legend of Total Cheese, man. He is good at finding the cheese. He really is. He's good at it. So, but I guess that since that's what he does for a job, I'm not surprised he's good at it, but he is good at it. He is good at it. I think Legend might be escaping. Oh, that's funny. He is definitely good at finding the cheese in this game. It cracks me up, some of the stuff that him and like Spiffing Brit and other people have come across. It cracks me up. It's pretty funny. It is pretty entertaining. Spiffing Brit is also a riot. He's pretty funny. Spiffing Brit's the god of cheesing. Yeah, he is. He's pretty funny. I actually got to play in an event with him once, like that I did with Paradox. He was on my team, and he was hilarious. He was really fun to work with. I feel very lucky that I've gotten to work with him. I don't know if he would remember me, but I certainly remember him. He was a riot. Says he always plays Skaven even when he isn't. I like that. That's a commitment to scheming right there, folks. When you're really always a Skaven player, that is a commitment to scheming. That's good. Oh man. I love seeing channels succeed in the Total War space. I really enjoy it. I'm glad they do. There's been a lot of people succeeding in the Total War content creation area, and it makes me happy. I would love nothing more than to see this game like continue to grow bigger audience. Why? Because I love it. It's fun. I like the game, and I love seeing new people get into it. This year, it's been a little bit killer for me just because with PC building, and PC gaming has just gotten absolutely kicked in the crotch by the pandemic pricing and supply chain disruptions and Bitcoin and all that stuff. Like, it is just, like, PC players have just had their legs spread and then just been drop kicked. Like, I mean, right where it counts. It has been terrible to get people into TC. Like, I've seen so many comments recently from, like, there's a guy who plays Halo that I like to watch. His name's Vetoed, and he was talking about how, like, his graphics card went out and he's probably just going to go buy an Xbox and just get out of playing on, like, PC gaming for now. And I don't blame him. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're sitting on a fortune, it is so frustrating getting into PC gaming right now. I really hope it changes because it's going to kill the hobby. Like, if it stays like this for very long, PC gaming's finished. Like, if they can't sort this out and get things back to normal, PC gaming is going to be done. And I don't want that, right? I don't want that at all. I love PC gaming. So, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But I mean, it has been an absolute, like, crap show with PC parts price, which is terrible because it was actually pretty decent. What is it, end of 2019? Yeah, end of 2019, like coming into 2020, I mean, PC part prices were in a pretty good place. Like, you could get some decent performance for under $1,000. And, I mean, heck, you could even put together something that wouldn't have been stellar, but it'd get you by for like $600, maybe $700. But, I mean, for $1,000, you could have a good gaming PC, like good. And if you hit the used market and got some bargains, you could have a good one for, I mean, like, you know, probably between six to 800, depending on what kind of deals you get. Like, there were some legit good deals going on, and not now. I think the best thing that we as PC gamers can do right now to help the prices Like, one thing I started doing, like, I was chasing graphics cards around. I really wanted a new graphics card. And, you know, I was chasing all these PC parts around, and eventually I was like, you know what? No. I'm done. I'm not going to go buy another single PC part until it's at least MSRP or below. And I'm not doing it by entering a lottery. And like, you're going to have it in stock. I will buy it when I've had time to think about it. And when I'm ready to buy it. Or, you know, something like that. And if you're not going to have it in stock, and you're going to price it over MSRP, then no, I'm not buying anything. And so I've kind of just, I've stopped purchasing anything for PC gaming recently, because I'm trying to do my part, as little as it is, to basically say no. Like, this is not acceptable. If this is the way you're going to price things in this market, then I will find a new hobby. And I think that's the way we've all got to get with them, is we've got to send the message to these companies with our wallet of, if you keep things this way, then I'm going to find a new hobby. And I hate to say that, because none of us really want to do that, but we've got to do it, and we've got to be serious about it, or else it will never change. They'll just keep running you through it. Like, if they think you're going to keep paying these prices, they will keep charging the prices. So the only way to get what you want back is to let the money do the talking. So as hard as it is, I mean, you've got to not spend the money when they're treating you that way. I understand there's a lot of factors at work, and not all the companies can help it, but I'm just saying, let that stuff rot on the shelf. Let it rot on the shelf, and after it sits there for a while, I can guarantee you the price will come down. But whatever PC parts are out there, let them rot on the shelf until they get down to the right price. I think a good example would be the last time I bought a car. I knew what the maximum was that I should pay for this vehicle. I'd done a whole lot of research, and I found one that fit the bill, and the dealer wanted me to pay $5,000 more than that price. And I went in and I told them, I was like, this is what I will pay you for that vehicle. And they're like, well, you know, we can't do that. Here's what we'll offer. And I said, no. I said, you can call me if you will give me this price. I will buy it from you. And I was like, otherwise, you're wasting your time. And so a week went by, and they called me. And instead of wanting like 5,000 extra, they're like, oh, well, how about this price? And it was 4,000 more. And I was like, no, I told you the price. And I told them on the phone, I was like, don't call me again unless you're willing to give me this price. It's like, that's a fair price. I know you're going to make money on it. And that's the price that I'm willing to go to. And that's that. And then and so 2 weeks went by. I hadn't heard anything. And I was kind of disappointed, because I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to get this car that I want. Maybe I should go. And I was like, no, I'm sticking it out. Like, because I had gotten ripped off on my car right before that really bad, and it made me really angry. And so I wasn't going to have that happen again. And so I stuck it out. I waited, and sure enough, 2.5 weeks later, the dealer calls me and is finally ready to play ball and you know, give it to me at the price they should. And we all just need to think that same way, like when it comes to the computer parts too. Like, that dealer did not want that car rotting on their parking lot, right? It's a waste of money for them, and eventually they'll play ball. And so I feel like we need to do the same thing with computer parts. Just let them rot on the shelf until they're willing to be reasonable. I don't know. I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but that's what we've got to try. Multiversal Association of Ratkind says, so buy a PS5 and take out the GPUs to sell for profit. I mean, you probably could right now. But buying a console is actually kind of a way to stick it to these computer part companies and others who, like, it's kind of a way, it's kind of not, right? So AMD is one of the companies that's making these GPUs that are very high priced and it's hard to get to. And they make the stuff for the consoles. So by buying a console, you are still giving them profit, but I guarantee you they make a higher profit off of their computer parts. I guarantee you they make a higher profit off of it. So that might actually be a feasible solution, is go buy a console. And after a generation of people buying a console, NVIDIA and AMD will definitely start to consider whether or not they should be charging $2,000 for, you know, high-end graphics cards, or $500 for low-end graphics cards. You know, like, they'll change their mind. They won't do it. You know what I mean? So if you go get a console and enough people do it, they'll feel it and they'll change their mind real quick. Alright, Metastorm and Mormal are here. Guts to kill them. Yes, yes. Good lightning strike. And we should. Alright. A console is good if you can find one. Yeah, I know they're really hard to find too, but the good thing about the console is, you know, I think they told you that I don't remember the price that each one of them goes for. I want to say it's around $500 for like the higher model. I just know that if you were to find one and say like a Walmart or a Best Buy or whatever the store is where you live, it would be at that price versus, you know, NVIDIA and AMD came out with graphics cards, and I'll use an example like the 3080. They said, oh, this is $700 MSRP. And yeah, I would expect that the other brands that come and make their own versions of them, like MSI, Asus, maybe 800, 850 tops, right? Because there usually is like a 10 to 20% markup you'll get on like the AIB cards, but go look at what the price is for a 3080 right now. What is it, like $1,500, $1,600, assuming you can even find one? That's a sick joke. I mean, I say it's a sick joke, but it's really not even funny, so it's not even a joke. Like, just sick. Like, that's just sick. Ridiculous. And, so, I mean, just, what I'm saying is, like, just don't play ball. Don't do it. You know, if you could be happy, go get an Xbox if you can find one, or a PlayStation. Do it. Make them pay. You know, make them pay. Don't let them not get their money. They'll think twice. $500 for Canadian, yeah. I don't remember exact price of the Xbox and the PlayStation, but I mean, honestly, like I mean, I'm not a console gamer because I like the way PC gaming looks and I like the variety and stuff. But let's be honest, like right now, consoles are an incredible value compared to PC gaming. It's not the same games, so you can't necessarily compare it like exactly like for like, but some of the same games are on both, and you get 4K 60 on a lot of the console games, and you get it for around $500. That is way better than anywhere close than you can get on PC gaming right now, and that makes me sad to say that, because usually PC gaming is actually a pretty decent value, because, you know, typically PCs would outperform the console by a lot, and it can be a decent value, but I mean, right now it's just not. Like, it is not a good value in PC gaming at all. It is absolutely a mess. Worked in a computer store, so the margin on high-end graphics card is so small, it's insane. Yeah, no, the retailer isn't your big issue usually with the graphics card. So I would think that most of their margins probably aren't very big. It's like a television, right? Like, the retailer's not the one that's going to be making a big margin on that stuff. But I guarantee you that AMD and NVIDIA are not putting those cards out without making a big margin, because they're a tech company. They're different than a retailer. And then there also could be middlemen sometimes, right? So let's say like a distributor company who buys the product straight from AMD or NVIDIA and then sells it to those retailers, and that person could also be upcharging. And then by the time it gets to the shelf, you know, even if they upcharged it a little, you know, it's already very expensive. And so that's my guess as to what's going on. Like, I don't think the issue is because of, you know, Best Buy or Newegg or, you know, any of the computer parts stores. I think the issue lies somewhere between the manufacturer, so AMD or NVIDIA, and the retailer. So is it a distributor? Is it the manufacturing company? I mean, I find it all kind of weird because the manufacturer comes out and says, oh, here's the MSRP, but then nothing's ever priced anywhere close to it. So, like, are they baiting us? Like, you know, or is it some distributor? I have no idea who's doing it, and I just hate it. I hate it. Anyway, I've talked about it for long enough. I should probably get off this topic or else I'll bore everybody to death. But obviously you can tell I'm passionate about PC gaming. I like it a lot. And I want other people to be able to enjoy it too. So it makes me sad when the price gets absolutely wrecked. How do you spell angry elf god name? Are you thinking, is it Kane? Is it K-H-A-I-N-E? I don't know. You're asking an engineer to spell Maybe there are some engineers who are good at it, but that is not me. There are companies that have just like invested in Bitcoin mining and buy GPUs en masse. Yeah, I mean, it would be a pretty good investment too. Like, they would have made a decent bit of money mining coin, and then if they managed to get the cards for the right price, you could then turn around in this market right now and sell them for more than MSRP. So I could definitely see people making a profit on a couple different levels. It was just definitely a perfect storm of dookie we got hit with in terms of PC gaming. That's me putting it very nicely. I think you all know the less kind words. The salt is real with HeirofCarthage. Yeah, I am. I get salty about certain things, but you know, life is good. I should complain less. I've got my health. I'm hanging out here with you all. I'm streaming. I should just take it easy. Be happy. I've got nothing real to complain about. But, in a way, I don't feel bad about complaining because, yeah, sure, it impacts me with the high prices, but, I mean, I hate that it keeps people from getting into the hobby that we all love, right? It's like when you have something you like, you want to share it with people, and then when you see that thing you like get all messed up, it makes you even more mad. It's kind of like if you have a family member maybe that's struggling really, like it really frustrates you because you love them, and you hate seeing that kind of thing happen. Salt is part of life. Yeah, it is. It is. Hey, thanks again, everybody, for being here tonight. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. Thanks for putting up with me. Got a notification that just popped up? Like I heard it, but I can't see anything. Appius sponsored? What?
In
Cutscene.
the shadows, the first ones lurk, ever vigilant and watchful. Oxyotl's chaos-sensing instincts have led to a place of ancient and unspeakable darkness. For the sake of tomorrow, the Beastmen must be slain. Ready the ambush.
Alright. So, did we track down Tarox? Is that for the final battle? Doesn't seem like I should be that close to the final battle. I mean, I feel like a short campaign if we were that close to the final battle. I only have one army and like a little bit of territory. Only on turn 70. Is it just based on how many Sanctum gems we get that like unlocks that stuff? New forms of evil, so we did that. New Sanctum available. Yeah, Heart of the Dark. This is the final battle, isn't it? Legend of the Blood Beast is true. The bull-headed fiend of brass rampages at the end, or at the head of a mile-long column of armored minotaurs. His course has been plotted. Just travel ahead of him, the foul place referred to as the Heart of the Dark. Let's get to the demons. I think that my notification thing is just going crazy right now. It's naming off Appius and Nikki for sponsoring the channel, which they do, and thank you to both of them. In fact, this is probably the first stream I've done in a long time where I haven't seen Nikki. So, we can go fight. Final battle. It just doesn't feel like the right time to fight the final battle, right? I mean, we haven't even killed any Druki. I enjoyed the final battle. It's fun, kind of stressful. Yeah, I've played it too. I've actually beaten the Oxyotl campaign prior to... I beat it before they even announced the DLC to you all because the FCA was kind enough to get us really good early access this time. And I do that type of thing so that hopefully when I'm playing these campaigns, I'll have a little bit more idea of what I'm doing so I don't feel like a complete idiot, like just trying to play it, you know, on the day that they let us show it. So it was nice to kind of get to play through it and get a chance to get used to it. But yeah, the Oxyotl campaign was fun. The final battle is fun too. It is a big one. It is a big battle, which is great. It should be. I don't play the game, but I watch videos about it. You know what, German Soldier? I have a lot of games that I watch that I don't play either. So you're not the only one. I have done the same thing with minigames. Don't have the money. Yeah, I mean, it's also a good reason. If you don't have the money for it, then it is what it is. Before I could afford, like when I was in school, before I could afford a gaming PC, I would just go watch Prince of Macedon play Rome Total War. Like, I loved it. That's the whole reason why I even started making videos, is because I spent so much time watching his. So, I have him to thank for that. Kick Tarox's brass. I love it, Blake. Oh, man. That's good stuff. I do want to kick his brass. That would be fun. Did you do the tubing thing in Kauai? I did not get to do any tubing, but I did go on a river. We kayaked up to a waterfall. Like, we kayaked to a place, hiked up to a waterfall, and then on that same river, we kayaked to another spot where we were jumping off these little cliffs. It was really pretty, man. Kauai was fantastic. Kauai was absolutely, or Kauai, however you say it, it was absolutely beautiful. Like, absolutely stunning. I have seen some beautiful places on this earth. Some here in the US. I have to say another place that really stuck out to me was Bavaria in Germany. Just absolutely beautiful. I was there in the fall, so I may change my mind if I was there during the cold of the winter, but Norway was absolutely gorgeous as well. And of course, there's a bunch of stuff I've seen. Like, I've been to Key West down in Florida, which is kind of feels like a tropical paradise too. Absolutely beautiful there. But I mean, there was something different about Hawaii. The weather was just constantly perfect. Warm, but not hot. Like, cool breeze. The water was perfect. Not warm, not cold. Like, I mean, it was just like lush plant life everywhere, but you're not overbeared by bugs and stifling humidity. Like, it was the craziest thing. It was one of the craziest thing. Yeah, I saw the link you sent, you Josh. I saw the link. My family had already planned out all these activities by the time I saw it, so I didn't have any time. But yeah, and I want to say, I don't know if it was the same plantation, but I did see like a big sugar plantation when I was out on the fishing boat. I could see like this big old plantation building. It made me wonder if that was the one. You should go to Hell Creek, Montana and find the T-Rex fossil. Now, that does sound pretty fun, actually. That does sound pretty fun. I'd be down with that. Yeah, there's a lot of places I'd still like to visit. I don't like the traveling part of travel. Like, on the airplane was just absolute misery. I can't sleep on them. You have to wear the mask right now, which just made it even worse. And, like, it's like, I already don't like being... I'm bored to death on the airplane, and then that just made it worse. And then everybody's irritated by it, and so you can kind of like just almost feel the bad vibe on the plane. The flight attendants are annoyed with it. Everybody on the plane's annoyed with it. And it was just bad. Like, the travel part is bad. But, I mean, being there, holy crap, no regrets, man. Hawaii was just, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, it emptied my wallet. It was very expensive, and the travel part was pretty gruesome, but it was a great privilege for me to get to go. We'd been saving money for a long time, and so it made it, you know, fun, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Like, definitely no regrets. It was an experience like I've never had before, so it was great. That's why a road trip, yeah, I used to really like flying because I wanted to be a pilot back in the day, and so I just really enjoyed flying, just the opportunity to get up and see it. And it's, my initial flying experiences were pre 9/11 here in the States, and flying back then was just way more luxurious, way more fun, way less of a hassle. And ever since then, for obvious reasons, it's gotten worse. I mean, because of course we don't want a plane to get used as a weapon again against us. And there are obvious downsides to flying now from that I'm not disagreeing with. Like, you know, it is what it is, but airlines and air travel has just never been the same for me after that. Like, because it's just always been a lot more tense, and the margins got a lot lower for all the companies because there's a whole lot more regulations and stuff like that. But, you know, and again, got to do what you got to do, like, to try and protect yourself. I'm not fighting against that, but I'm just, airline travel was so much better pre 9/11. Like, you would go, like, so for instance, I remember one of my flights, we showed up to it, and the company's like, hey, thanks for flying, you know, today, and just as kind of a way to reward folks, they're like, just sit wherever you want on the plane, and on your way in, we've got a cooler full of sandwiches and drinks. Just grab whatever you want on the way onto the plane. We just wanted to say thanks for flying with us. That was the kind of stuff that would happen. You go on an airplane today, and it's like, you can't have this. You can't sit there. You're in group 9. You get to board at the very end and crawl over everybody. And we ran out of storage space, and so now you got to check your bag, and then we're going to lose it. And then our employees are going to be mad at you because they're having to enforce all these different, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a wreck. Like, it is a train wreck. Air travel is a complete train wreck. And it used to be like something special, and now to me it's a train wreck. When's the Rome 2 thing happening? Very soon, Slatko. Very soon. I'm just trying to get the mods together. Just trying to get the mods and figure it out. Oh yeah, saying 6'1". Yeah, I'm about 6 foot tall, so airplane seats are extraordinarily uncomfortable. And the best part is whenever you're 6 feet tall, it's almost like the airline is required to put you next to someone else who's 6 feet tall. And especially if both of you weigh like over 200 pounds, they will always put you together on the plane so that both of you have no elbow room and you're stuck together for the entire flight. Like that's like all, I feel like that's a requirement for the airlines. It's like they look up your weight and stuff and then find out and then make sure that you're uncomfortable. Let's see, I'm just gonna sack these guys. Take the money. And then I'm going to turn around and occupy it just so I can warp out of here. And then I'll just destroy it. Matt, I missed the start. Gotta start watching from the beginning. Yeah, Blake, it'll be, I think even right now you can go back to the beginning if you want, Blake. But yeah, it'll be there. And then of course this will post on my channel after the stream, and you know, you can use the slider, go through it. Like if I start annoying you with something I'm talking about, or I get off beat, you know, like you can just slide your way through it just like any other video. Sucks when you fly with the kids, so you can't just get the seat with the escape route and get all the extra, like, exactly, Sam. Yeah, I had kids with me. And fortunately for me too, the people that we sat next to on the plane were very understanding and good with our kids, and my kids did a good job. But I've been on a plane before without my kids, and like the people around me will just, like, when a kid comes on their plane, oh gosh, a kid on the plane, like they'll start cursing and swearing and like giving the mom a hard time and telling them, I mean, like, people are very rude sometimes to people with children on an airplane. Like, I promise you, as a father of children, we don't get on an airplane with children willingly, right? We do it because we have to. Not because you want to or you know that it's going to be easy. You do it because you have to. And just, I know it's hard sometimes, but like, everybody was a kid once, and you acted like a kid too. So just try and be patient with kids when you get in that situation. Like, you know, like I said, sometimes kids do really good. Mine did very good on this trip. I was very proud of them. Did a great job considering that it was a very long and boring flight. They did a fantastic job. But like, that really irks me when people get all bent out of shape about kids, and I'm like, they can't help it. They're kids. They haven't grown up yet. You know, and it's like, and then I know some people be like, well, you know, if it was my kid, I'd make him listen. Yeah, sure you would. Don't get me wrong. There's always things we can do better to parent, but the person that's always making the claim that, well, if I was a parent, they wouldn't do that. Sure. Yeah, sure. I'm sure if they had kids, that their kids would never do anything wrong or never act bad. That's hilarious. So, don't make me laugh. Why not simply put them in storage? I'm sure some people would prefer they be in storage. 5 turns to do the final battle? I don't know, is that true? I hope not. Oh yeah, holy crap. Turns to complete. What the heck? I don't want to do it yet, though. Oh, I guess we are. Alright, let's go do the final battle. Everyone tolerates dogs on planes, but not humans. People are surprisingly more tolerant of dogs sometimes than people. And to be fair, sometimes I can understand. Like, you know, sometimes people are difficult to tolerate depending on what they're doing or how they're acting. Then again, so are dogs. Like if they're biting you or crapping somewhere, it'd be pretty rough. But yeah, I don't know. I don't get that either. Like I said, I can get it. Like I've been on a flight before, like a long one, where a little baby was just screaming the whole time. And, you know, it gave me a headache. And it's loud. It was unpleasant. But it's a baby. I mean, they can't control themselves. There's nothing they can do about it. And so the last thing I would do is everyone, like, and I'm sure the mom that entire flight was absolutely mortified and like just sick. I would be, you know, if it was me. And so I mean, obviously the last thing that, you know, that we would want to do is like make them feel worse. So it's just one of those things that they can't help it. I have an allergy against Chihuahuas. Other breeds, no allergic reaction for some strange reason. That is weird. Chihuahuas do shed a decent bit, I think, though. A lot of short-haired dogs do. Isn't it like poodles and some of the others that grow hair that people are usually, you know, there's, what do they call it? They're more hypoallergenic for folks. I throw on headphones and watch a movie. Yeah, exactly, Blake. That's typically what I do when I'm alone, too. When I'm alone, I don't have much of a problem. I take the headset, watch a movie, or I play my Nintendo Switch the whole time. But on this flight, it was really hard because I had kids. And so, like, I'm constantly trying to keep them entertained and engaged so that they don't irritate the people around them or, you know, get really upset. And so it was really hard this flight because typically I do fly alone and it's really easy for me to be busy or ignore anything going on. But this time it was a lot harder. All right. I love the little skinky voice. What do you all think of the little skinky voice there? I think it's good. All right, the big battle is underway. Right. Okay, got my stuff moving up here. It's great, it's very reptilian. How cool is this map? It is a good map. They did a good job with it. It looks really nice. Lizardmen are one of the more aesthetically colorful factions. Yeah, they are. They've got some really cool miniatures, too. And a lot of the miniatures that I see for, like, Seraphon and Age of Sigmar look like they were kind of pulled straight from fantasy battles. So there's a lot of cool miniatures still out there for the Lizardmen, for anybody who wants to be a collector. Seraphon has some pretty awesome minis. It's the lizard language. Is that like Klingon? Are there Warhammer people who can speak languages? Like, is it like a full-on language? Or is it just, you know, something they're making up just for the game's sake? Isn't it like Klingon and Elvish from Lord of the Rings are like legit languages that people can learn how to speak? And if so, that's pretty insane that people took the time to create all that. I used to play them back when I collected minis in the 7th edition. That's cool. They're definitely a very colorful faction. They're really neat. I can see the appeal. Okay, let's get the Oracle up here. Go after the Doom Bull. A little bit risky to use my Comet right now, so I'm just going to do some healing and try and keep as many units alive as I can. Minotaurs are going down. Getting after the Doom Bull here. Our Croxy's up here. What's going on, Josh? Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. I'm sure there are people with way too much time on their hands who can speak Lizardmen. That'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. I guess we killed that Doom Bull. Beat the Doom Bull to prevent the tribe from reinforcing. No, he's still alive over here. Get that Doom Bull. Alright, he's going down pretty quick. I'm gonna get my Croxadors to kind of turn over here and help me block off some of the incoming reinforcements. Alright, Doom Bull's down. Let's move some infantry forward. Doom Bull. Okay, there goes all of his forces. Okay. Air, what will be your next Warhammer campaign after this one? Any plans? Well, I still have the other two going. If I decide to finish this one here, which I might, because technically this is the final battle. And I unintentionally did this one as a Vortex campaign. And Vortex campaigns are shorter. I don't know what my next Warhammer 2 one would be. I need to start my Rome 2 campaign. And I would have that one going along with the other two Warhammer campaigns at the moment, which is probably about as much campaign as I can take on. Plus, we just saw the announcement about Troy today, and I don't know how much we really know, but they're clearly planning on bringing it to Steam, and they have that Mythos thing, and I would like to play a campaign all the way through on Troy, because I haven't done it yet, especially with the Mythos. The Mythos campaign I'm interested in, because I like that kind of thing. So I probably have a Troy campaign going here soon. So it'll probably be a little while before I start another Warhammer campaign, though we will. And I'd like to find another fun thematic one to do, kind of like we did the All-Gun Empire campaign. I'd like to find a fun thematic one to do. And it may sound like I have all the stuff going, like, oh, I'm going to be way too busy. No, I like it. Like, I like doing all the campaigns. I go on kicks. Like, I really like multiplayer and Total War games, and I've played a ton of it throughout my time in Total War, but if I'm being honest, like, I really like campaign more right now than I do multiplayer. I'm just more interested in it. I have more fun with it. Now, does that mean I, am not going to play multiplayer or, no, not at all. Like, just because I'm having more fun with campaign, I'll still be interested in multiplayer in Total War games, but, it's just kind of where I'm at right now, and so I don't mind at all having all these campaigns going because I really like it, and I have a lot of fun with it. Plus, it's really pretty simple for me to record campaigns, and it's really predictable, right? When it comes to multiplayer battles, you have to first go take the time to play the battle, and then the battle you play might suck and totally be unrecordable. And so, in my life, where I'm very busy with, like, a day job and kids and all this other stuff, like, it also makes it less appealing to me from a multiplayer standpoint because it's more of a time investment. And if I go put that time investment in and I have nothing to record, then it screws up my channel. And then that depresses me because I've wasted all this time and I don't have any recordings to show for it. And so campaign is much more predictable, right? It's easier for me to record a campaign because it's like, okay, today it's time to record Oxyotl. Tomorrow it's time to record Tarox. You know, tonight I need to record this one. Like, it's really easy for me to keep track of and be productive, right? To get a bunch of content out to you all with campaigns. Again, I like the multiplayer a lot, and I enjoy playing it, but there's a lot of factors that also make it much less predictable to record, and, you know, just... It can get frustrating too. Like, you know, I'll go play some multiplayer matches, and you have an unlucky day, and you just get matched up against a bunch of annoying spammers or something like that. And it's really frustrating. Now, of course, when I play multiplayer with you all on the stream, I love it. Like, that's the time I have the most fun in multiplayer, is just playing with you all. And just like, it's kind of like when I play Halo. I don't play Halo to get like the highest rank or to get in a tournament. Like, yeah, I play it and I like to win, but I mostly play it just to have fun, and I have the most fun with it whenever I'm just playing around with friends. And so, like, for instance, when I record the Halo Reach campaign, I'm having a ton of fun because I'm just playing with awesome people from the Discord, playing with viewers, right? And so I enjoy multiplayer the most like that on this game too, where we're just kind of having a good time getting together and playing some matches. Ladder is a lot harder for me to enjoy these days. It's partly because I'm just not a terribly competitive person to begin with, meaning, like, I don't get a real thrill in life out of beating people at something competitive. Just never have. Some people really thrive on that, and so multiplayer is probably very exciting for them because it gives them that chance to compete. It's probably one of the reasons why, like, one of the only sports I really spent much time on in, like, high school, for instance, was golf. And in golf, I compete against myself. And so it was one of those sports that was always just made more sense for me. Whereas the other sports, you know, I'm having to be much more competitive against other players and trying to beat them out, you know, all the time and stuff like that. And I just don't enjoy that. Like, I just don't find it very fun. I don't find it very satisfying. Vanquishing enemies on a computer game, enjoyable. Vanquishing people in real life, I mean, it doesn't really send me home with the best feeling. So, again, if you enjoy it, not knocking anybody who enjoys it, not at all. It's just not for me. Use that magic. Oh yeah, we haven't used any magic yet. Thank you. I don't know who to use it on. We've got a little bit of damage going right here, so we'll heal up a few of these units. There's more waves. Yep, we got more coming. Man, after playing that survival battle in Warhammer 3, holy crap, I'm excited for those. That survival battle was fun. I'm loving this series. Thanks, Twizzles. Thanks for being here tonight, too. Appreciate you. Glad you're enjoying it. Makes me happy. Use the comet on the next wave. Yes, we do need to use the comet. Ooh, here comes some reinforcements. Awesome. Darkblader says, hey, Air, love watching your videos. Thanks, Darkblader. Appreciate it. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, we need to use the comet. I think I'll try and get my Bastiladons up here and make a blob. And then maybe I can get the comet off. Alright. Yeah, I need to get a real good blob going right over here, and I think we've got one on the way. It's not bad, not bad. There's some pretty valuable units up in here. Let's give them the comet. Ah, one of them pulled out right there at the last second. I wish I could cancel it. Did it cancel? No. Dang. Comet on the way. Crap. Totally wasted the comet. It was good. And then it turned into nothing. Dang. That sucks. This would have probably been a better comet hit over here. We are a little bit overmatched over here. When I say a little bit, it's actually quite a lot. We are overmatched over there. I'm gonna pull back this. Oh crap! Getting my face beat in by a Gorgon right here. Okay, we're in a little bit of trouble now. I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed in a couple spots. This is not ideal. I need some spears. Click my spears, for goodness sakes. CA, please. Is that ability for a second? I don't know if it'll do me any good. Let's kill those Minos. Where's Oxyotl at? Let's go ahead and pop this healing. Slippery. Leadership. I gotta get these units out of melee. Oh, no, 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 no. Bad chaos. Bad chaos. Alright, kill the Gorgon. Boy, we just about got owned right there. Bad Gorgon. No, no. Tarox is right up there, too. Right, we should be able to assassinate the Gorgon. He is out. Now I'm going to kill Tarox. Alright, there's a second Gorgon there, but I'm going to take some shots at Tarox. You shoot at the Gorgon. Why are you running backwards? Did I give them a movement order backwards? Trantor! Thanks for supporting the channel with your membership. Too kind. Thank you, Trantor. Much appreciated. Well, I'm kind of getting my face beat in, to be honest, but I've got reinforcements over there, so we should be alright. Alright, so I'm going to focus the other Gorgon. Try and take it out of the picture, and we are going to get it. So Gorgon out. Here comes Tarox. Let's keep walking away from Tarox and see if we can kite him a little. He's pretty fast, but if we can get some poison shots into him like that, it'll slow him down and weaken him up. Take a shot at Tarox real quick with the Oracle. Alright, we're just gonna kite draw these guys a little. Got something going over there. Okay, we should be able to get some good damage down. Let's get a damage resistance going just in case I get charged. Okay, yeah. Good. Tarox just got lured out here. Slay him! Kick his brass! Yes! Yes! Oxyotl and his skinks assassinate the brass bull. More like responsor because YouTube is a butt. Well, thanks, Trantor. I appreciate it. I can tell you've been supporting a long time. He's got that gold shield going. Thank you, Trantor. I want to say there's about like 60 or 70 people who are channel sponsors, and it's a big deal. It's a significant, like, it's not like half or more than half or something like that, but it's a substantial boost to the revenue of the channel, and it's very kind. And revenue is not everything for this channel. Like, my views right now, for instance, are quite low compared to what they used to be back in the day. Don't really care. I don't have to make a bunch of money off the channel because I have a day job. But it's very nice to have the support from folks, because it means that I'm going to keep working hard, obviously. Like, if everything ground down and I was having to spend, 20 or 30 hours a week making videos, and I was making literally $0, I probably couldn't justify that, right, with family time, right? But I don't need YouTube to be this massive money maker for me. And so the folks who are supporting like that, it's very much appreciated. And for those of you just watching the videos, obviously I earn ad revenue off of that, so that's also support, and thank you very much. Regardless of what the means is that you support, thank you for it. I'm just saying that I really appreciate the folks who do that, because it's a great way to stabilize the YouTube stuff and not have to worry, again, that I would ever be doing like 20 or 30 hours a week of work and making literally nothing, and then having the family wonder why I'm doing it. I do it because I love it, but I started this before I had a family too, right? And I got to take care of my family. The family loves me doing this too. They can see that I like it and they support me in it. I appreciate that too. And for me, making a little bit of money off of it that I help, put back and save and stuff obviously helps them. And so it's a win-win for everybody. Ain't no meeting. Thanks for the 5. It says, would Oxyotl vote for Al Gore Bowl in 2024? So one way or the other. So and thank you for the 5, by the way. Ain't no meaning. Appreciate your support tonight as well. Oxyotl would vote for Gorbel. And some of you might be saying, Air, now hang on here. That just doesn't match lore. That doesn't seem right. Well, here's the thing. You may not think a lizardman would vote for Gorbel, and you'd be right, okay? You may be wondering how he would vote for Gorbel. And it's because you vote for Gorbel either willingly, or he kills you, and then you vote for him because he's going to commit the fraud, right? So, and it's not fraud if the judges and the police who look for fraud are also dead, right? So see, Gorbel is really in the clear the whole way. So you're going to vote for him or he'll destroy you, and you'll vote for him posthumously. And so that's just how it works, right? That's how voting for Gorbel goes. So you'll vote for him one way or the other. And so if you ask, is Oxyotl going to vote for him? The answer is yes. And it's because in the end, everybody will vote for Gorbel, whether they like it or not.
The sundered herdstone relinquishes its vile energies. Chaos shall not prevail this day. The first ones are victorious. Their world is safe once more. Yet already, Oxyotl senses new danger. He remains forever duty-bound. His work never complete.
I'm laughing. There's some good comments coming through that I gotta read. Oh, man. Some of these comments are great. Twizzle says, when you play the game of Bull, you vote or die, and then vote. And then Daniel says, Gorbel always wins. Flaming Aaron says, Al Gorbel will rule the world where no one is around to vote. See, there you go. Now we're seeing it. And then Blake says, Al Gorbel, a new DLC character in the future. He should be a free LC, because if CA doesn't make him, he will have to destroy CA, and then they'll make him, and then he'll destroy whoever made them. You see how that's going to work? And then Blake Beacom says, can't be voter fraud if it's murder. That is an excellent point. You can't accuse Gorbel of voter fraud if he murdered someone, right? I mean, because then it was murder. I mean, see? There you go. It's done. Gorbel would be a University of Texas fan. No one wants to vote for that willingly. Sorry if there's any UT fans out there, but I grew up in Oklahoma, and I'm no fan of the University of Texas, and so a guy comes through with the joke that made my night right there. Oh, that's good stuff. Oh, man. All right, darkness was vanquished. Does that technically end the campaign? I don't think it does. I think that technically we have more objectives to get the Vortex victory. We destroyed the Slaughterhorn tribe. We won the battle. But we have to complete 5 battles on the Visions of the Old One on the hard setting. So the campaign is not over. Yes, we fought the battle, but we do have to continue the campaign and go for the victory condition there. But I don't have any control. It's just I kind of get whatever they give me, but we have to have these hard ones. We have to complete at least 5 of those. I've only done 1 so far. Hey, David Johnson, thank you so much for the 10. He says, so happy to catch you live. You're not only my favorite Total War streamer, but also one of my favorite YouTubers. Well, hey, thank you, David. That's extremely kind. Appreciate folks like you who watch the videos all these years and who support. Makes a huge difference. I do love this. Hopefully you all can tell when I play the game that I love it too, because I was excited I get to come in here and stream tonight. I love streaming. I wish I could do it more. I think it's just because I enjoy playing the game, and it makes it even more fun when I get to sit here with you all and get your interaction, like these jokes and stuff like that too. It's fantastic. So thank you, David. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for the support, and thanks for being here tonight. I make this content because I know people like you enjoy it, and that is something that I have enjoyed for many, many years, and I hope to continue to enjoy for many years. I hear some people talk about getting burned out on YouTube, and I can understand that. It could be rough, like if you got into the right spot, but I can honestly say I have never been burned out on my YouTube channel. I love it, and I feel grateful for that, because it's fun. I really love making the videos for you all a lot. I think I enjoy it, hopefully as much as you all do, and that's a good thing, because it becomes like it's a good outlet for me in life, right? You got to have things you do in life that help you calm down and that you enjoy. Everybody's probably a little different. I don't know. Maybe some people don't need this quite as much, but I need a place to unwind, you know, to keep myself from going crazy. And YouTube, because I'm playing the computer games that I love, has always been that outlet for me. And not only that, the awesome community that I have here with you folks, you know, who watch the videos and comment and come here and make things fun. Like, I get awesome comments. I get to, I know not meet them in real life, right? But I get to meet you here on the internet. I've got my Discord where I get to talk with people, you know, things just like, for instance, I'm going to use this as an example. It's not the only example, but like Killscribe comes around and starts counting up all the kills in my campaign. So I get a chance to, you know, enjoy that and have folks like, it just, that kind of stuff is really cool. And it's very, I would say it's kind of humbling in a way for me, because people are taking their time to do that for the content that I've created. And it's very much appreciated. But at the same time, like, it's just, I'm going on for way too long. Hopefully I'll get what I'm getting at. It's a very cool feeling, and it's very satisfying. I guess what I'm getting at is that you all make this very worth it for me. And I think that's why I like it so much, is because you all make it so enjoyable for me. So thank you. Long story short, rambling air made shorter there. I'm going to get rid of a couple of the Chameleon Stalkers because I don't really need them in mass numbers. I'm going to get a couple of these Blessed Temple Guards. I probably have access to some pretty sweet regiments of renown too. I was going to put these into my second army. I think, at least. I don't know though. I think I'm going to go ahead and combine these dudes. And let's pull in... I mean, that's enough infantry, I think. I want to get this Spirit of Teapot unit in. What? I definitely want the Spirit of Teapot here. Kind of want that Regiment of Renown Carnosaur. I mean, the Blessed One's cool, but I hate that I'm doing this, but I really want the Regiment of Renown one. Vanguard deploy. Ooh, that's good. Good stuff. Kind of want that Troglodon too. I think I'm gonna replace these Croxies with the Troglodon. Yeah. I'll save the other ones for the other army when I make one. Blake says YouTubers seem happier when it's a business second and fun first. I could totally understand that. I can definitely understand that. Like, in some ways, I'm sad that this isn't my job because I enjoy it so much. But to your point right there, Blake, I'm kind of glad it's not my job, because since it's not my job, it's still very fun for me. It's like it's an outlet for me every night, right? It's something fun I get to go do and enjoy, and I get to aspire to. Versus, I would hope my attitude would stay positive. I feel like I've seen a lot of YouTubers who are able to keep a real positive attitude and continue loving what they do. It's not impossible. But yeah, it probably does get a lot more difficult whenever it is your job. Let's see, let's get some more of these. Lizards are just fun. They are, Trantor. I like playing lizards. Sam says, I was watching another streamer playing the Oxy campaign last week, and he was complaining about the burnout from needing to do live campaigns and dealing with toxic comments. Yeah, I see. I really enjoy doing the live campaigns. They're a lot of fun. I wish I could do a lot more live like this. Maybe some people on my channel wouldn't like that because they're used to the traditional video format that I do, and that's understandable. And so definitely get that. But at the same time, like, I love this, and I again am so thankful that you all are not toxic. Please keep it that way. I can't tell you how much that makes this great. Clone Trooper, there is my favorite clone. He's back. Thanks for the 500 yen. How are you doing, Clone Trooper? You holding up all right? Life good? Thank you for being here, sir. In case you all didn't know it, Clone Trooper is the clone. If you're gonna have a favorite clone, he is the best clone. It's hot. Yeah, it's hot here too. Even in my room right now, I got all this computer equipment just spewing heat out too. It is hot. You are correct. Right. I prefer Thorn. Hey, speaking of, are any of you all watching Bad Batch? I haven't watched it yet. Is it good? Whenever Mandalorian Season 2 was over, I canceled Disney Plus to give it a break for a while, save some money. And I'm kind of waiting on more Mando action, hopefully, but is Bad Batch good? Just curious. I really liked the Clone Wars and the Rebels. I thought those were good. Daniel says, been thinking about watching Bad Batch. I saw them a little bit, obviously, I think where they introduced them. The Clone Wars stuff. Bone Trooper says yes. Yeah, I've thought about watching them. I'm definitely not thrilled with Disney's Star Wars movies, other than what's that one? Rogue One was pretty good. I felt like the book for Rogue One was also good. Hated the sequel movies, like I despise them. I think they're absolutely terrible, like most movies in Hollywood today. They were poorly written and just full of special effects to try and distract you the fact that the story is awful and that the characters are bad. Yeah, it's just... Anyway, it was just bad. Anyway, but I also really enjoyed like the Clone Wars content, and Mandalorian I thought was pretty good too. Like at first Mandalorian was kind of just like, okay, this is alright, right? It doesn't blow me away, but it's good. And then Season 2, and the way it ended, they did good. I mean, they did good. So I feel like, to Disney's credit, the cartoons have stayed good, at least from what I've seen, and The Mandalorian was good. Like I said, I don't think I was completely blown away by Mando during the first season. I liked it. But then by the end of the second season, I'm like, yeah, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. They're doing a good job. I feel like too many Hollywood like movies these days are just awful. I was watching a movie on the airplane coming back. I think it was called like Breach or something like that, or Breached or something. It had Bruce Willis as some sci-fi movie. It's just terrible. Like the writing was awful. All of the characters were awful. The story was just dumb. The ending was garbage. And I'm like, how do you get funding to make this stuff? Like, who reads this script and says, you know what, I'm going to give these guys a few $1 million and let them make this film? Like, on what planet? It was so bad. Like, I mean, I don't write. I'm an engineer. I know I'm a bad writer. When I see problems with your writing and your scripting, it's bad because I'm not any good at that stuff. And so whenever I see it, then you know it's bad, right? Because I'm not even like a real great critic, right? I think if you came out with something halfway decent, like I'm gonna be on board, right? Because I don't think that way, you know. Like I don't write any literature or anything else. Like I'm shocked, like that you can go in with a script like that and pitch it and get money for it. Like I'm flabbergasted that it's possible to do that. I'm absolutely flabbergasted that that's even possible. I'm going to put this Sara Spear in the new army when we make it. I'm going to go ahead and pull Star Chamber Guardians into here. Kind of get this army real tanky. Mandalorian had a way more of a story arc. Yeah, it did, and the story arc was good. Yeah, it had some episodes that just wasted some time and took you off of some planet. Obviously because they didn't want to rush the plot. Maybe some people got annoyed by stuff like that where they did that. I get it. But for the most part, I agree. Like, there was a nice story arc in Mandalorian. And they ended it in a way that was satisfactory and made sense. They didn't drag it out for 10 seasons and then have some lackluster crap ending that left you asking more questions than you ever had. No, it had a good ending. It came to a conclusion, of that story arc, and it was good, and it opened the door for some more story arcs that could also be good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Clone Trooper says, what kind of NG are you? I'm a diesel NG. Like diesel engines? I mean, I have a truck. My truck is an unleaded. I've driven some diesel trucks before. I'm not... Or are you saying NG, like diesel, like Vin Diesel? Hold on, let me make sure I'm understanding you. Help clarify for me, Clone Trooper. We're thinking... Oh, the kind of engineer. Engineer, I think. Diesel engineer. Got it. I am a mechanical engineer by schooling, but I would say that my job is really more of an industrial engineering job. So I would probably count myself as an industrial engineer, but my schooling was mechanical engineer. But I haven't had any real-world practice as a mechanical engineer. All of my real-world experience has been more as an industrial engineer. So yeah. Thanks, Clone Trooper. Thanks for the 500 yen again. Yeah, that's mechanical engineer by degree, industrial engineer by occupation, probably. Slatko asked, what do I do as an industrial engineer? Industrial engineers are focused on process improvements, anything that helps a business run more efficiently, run more lean. It can focus both on people and on process, meaning, like, to give you some examples of different stuff I've worked on, like at one point I worked on engineered labor standards, which was we would go in and use all these engineered standards and take a whole bunch of measurements and set up a system, for instance, that if someone was working in, say, a warehouse and, you know, the manager wants to know how many cases per hour should they be able to pick so that I can set that goal and it will be fair for them and I can expect them to do it. And so, like, we would go in and we would do all the studies and we would put it together and say, okay, like, so for instance, we set up a dynamic system to where when one of the people in our warehouse would get assigned a trip to go pick things to go to our stores, it would give them a dynamic goal based on that trip. Like, how heavy were the cases they had to pick? How far apart were they? How far did they have to travel? All that kind of stuff. And so, like, we put together a labor system so that our employees who were working hourly knew where their goals came from, and they knew it was fair, right? It wasn't just the management saying, hey, I want you to go pick 300 cases an hour, you know, like, just totally arbitrary, right? So it gave them a fair goal. And then the system we put in place was, you know, if they went above 100% production, they could get a bonus pay up to 130%. And so it was like that. So that was one thing I did as an industrial engineer. Other things that I did was I looked at new technology and how you could integrate that new technology into existing processes to make it more efficient. Would it be worth it? Would it not be worth it? We did a little bit of new building design, in the sense of not necessarily me designing the structure of the building, but designing how would we want the process in the new building to work. You know what I mean? So it's more like working with people and processes to make them more efficient. So I really like industrial engineering. Not what I went to school for, not what I would have thought I would have really enjoyed back when I was in school, but I do. And it's been a very satisfying occupation. Sounds like the equivalent to the pipeline engineer in a software dev. Maybe. Yeah, maybe so. All this makes my Norskin brain hurt. We've had a few head scratchers before. I've come home from work with a headache multiple times. But I guess that's part of being an engineer, is you kind of relish the problems, and sometimes especially the tough ones. Because when you solve it, it's that much more satisfying. I have not done any Six Sigma. I probably should have, Jeff, but that's a good question. No, I have not done specifically any Six Sigma. Typically, a lot of people would do some of that when they were in school and then when they get into the workplace, but my company hasn't done a lot of it, and I haven't really gone out of my way to go get any of that training, but maybe I should. say business process automation. Kind of. I did a little bit of process automation, or at least looking into the feasibility of it. Some of it got put into practice, some of it did not. But you know, sometimes you're working on more of a strategic level where you're just putting together what you think it would do, and then other times you're implementing it. You can kind of be on both sides of it. But and I did a little bit of both, where I was sometimes working on more of a strategic level, like just spending my time taking ideas to leadership and trying to show them, you know, what I thought the cost benefit would be. And there were other times when you might go to a meeting like that and you'd show leadership, hey, look at this cool machine, I think we should add it in, and here's why. And they'd be like, okay, here's $10 million, go do it. And so then you would all of a sudden turn into kind of like a project manager, and you'd go implement it. So I mean, it was fun. Right now, in my current position, I mean, in some ways, I kind of still work with like process improvement, but I actually kind of took a pivot in my last position to challenge myself and to learn something new. And I'm probably more of a I'm more of a data expert for my team right now than I am a process person. And I've used basically all the things I've learned as an engineer and some different software that I picked up with data analytics that I started whenever I was working on engineering projects. And I brought that to the team I'm on now. And basically I provide them with the best data analytics that I can, because our team has to deal with a massive, huge database of item data. And we have to support the whole company when they're having issues with this data and how they consume it and use it. And so I've had to kind of become an expert on where this data dwells, how we use it, where you find it, how to gather it, what it means. And then basically people will come to me from my team and they'll say, hey, and my real life name is Mark, by the way. So they'll come to me and be like, hey, Mark, I need help with, you know, getting this data set put together because we have to make a decision on this problem we're having. I'll be like, all right. And so I listen to what they say, I go into my software, I build a workflow that goes and gets the data from all these different places and puts it into the format they need, and then I go back to them and show them, okay, here's what you got, here's the process that I used to get it, and here's, you know, any concerns I have with the data. Basically, like, I kind of help them, I provide them a way to make their decisions so that they can kind of keep the company going, right? Jeff says, I work with data mining now too. Yep, so I do a lot of data mining and data analytics. I would say the specialty is that I've had to learn how to use a software that lets me pull in data from lots of different types of databases and different sources, and I bring them into one place and run the analytics and then output it in a way that my internal customers can use it. So that's kind of what I do at the moment. It's a bit of a pivot from my engineering jobs, but I like it, and it's been a real challenge to learn, and it's been very satisfying, and I feel like one day it's probably going to make me a better engineer as well, because of having all this data analytics skill. It should make me better at doing the engineering jobs down the road. So I'm excited for it. I enjoy it. I have a great boss right now. Blackco says, we're working on creating digital twins of warehouses. Imagine a system that has a spatial awareness of everything going on inside the warehouse, every parcel forklift. Yeah, that'd be really cool. That sounds awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool tech out there. You can do some really neat stuff with tech right now, especially when you get some clever people together that are good with software, and you start getting those people to combine cool software with cool tech. You can get some really amazing stuff done. Skynet, I call it. That's awesome. It does kind of sound like Skynet. It's a good name. I use SAS to retrieve internal data. That's cool. I have had to learn SQL, which I didn't know previously. I do a lot of queries onto DB2, which is an IBM database, and Teradata databases. I'm having to learn, like, my company has started using Google BigQuery, so I've had to learn a little bit of that. And they've also gone to non-relational databases, so that's been a little different, so I've had to start learning some of that. But I use a software suite called Alteryx, and it basically kind of helps me be a programmer without having to really know how to be a programmer. And so it's kind of cool because it lets me kind of bridge the gap between being like an actual software engineer and kind of an operations, focused person. So it's cool. It lets me live in an interesting gap and provide some important stuff to my team, which makes me happy whenever I feel like I'm providing something important. David says, oh nice, I did some dev for Alteryx, very powerful. Yeah, I love Alteryx. Like, it is really good. My company's trying to get rid of it, and I cry, not literally, but figuratively, I cry every day. I just hope they change their mind. They are determined to get rid of it, and they think that they have better software, and I keep trying to tell them there isn't better software for what it does, and like hundreds of us have been yelling at them saying this is a bad move, you are making the wrong decision, and they just ignore us. And they just put out the next little propo video telling us about how great it's going to be with this new stuff, and we're like, you are wrong, you really need to listen to us, and they won't do it. It has been intensely frustrating. Because I know what's going to happen is they're going to give us the new software. It's not going to work. And the reason I know that is because it already doesn't work. They tried to get me to use it, and I was like, look, your new software does not have this tool, this tool, this tool, this tool. I cannot do my job with your software. And they're like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah. I mean, did you not research this? Like, we can't do it. And they're like, oh, well, in about 18 months, we should be able to have it. Yeah, and so, all right, so let me get this straight. Like, in 18 months, you're going to go create what this other company is already doing and outperform. Sure, whatever. The good news is I get to keep my current software until they prove that their new one can actually replace mine. So I'm excited about that, but I am very, very upset with them trying to get rid of this software. And I know they're doing it to save a little money. I know why they're doing it, which is money. They won't admit that. They refuse to admit it. They act like that's not the case. I know it's the case because it's not cheap software. But yeah, it just frustrates me. Zlatko, they're trying to replace it with Tableau Prep and Microsoft Power BI and some other program. It's going to take 3 programs to essentially replace Alteryx. And to me, that's enough to prove that it's a stupid move in the first place. Like, we're going to have 3 different pieces of software to replace one. So why would you do that? And the reason is money. And it's because they're going to get a better deal on these other softwares. And they just don't want to admit that to us because, it doesn't look good when you're saying, yeah, we don't really care that this one makes your job better and easier. We just want to pay for the cheaper one. But that's what they're doing. Like, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Matthew, thanks for the 5. He says, do you enjoy mathematical aspects of engineering, or do you see it as just a practical tool? No, I enjoy it. Like, thanks, Matthew, for the 5. Very much appreciate it. I really enjoy math. I wasn't great at it in high school. Like, I wasn't bad at it, but I wasn't great at it. I really liked it. The more I took of it in college and my engineering courses, the more I liked it. And I really enjoy math. It's something that my brain can comprehend and understand. And I'm not perfect at it. Like, I certainly couldn't go toe-to-toe with, like, some math PhD or something like that. But I certainly enjoy it. I find it very useful for a lot of things in real life. If only I understood math, I'll need to study more. Sometimes it takes time. Like I said, I wasn't particularly great at math, and I got my butt kicked by my first calculus class in college. It was rough. Like, I mean, I barely made it through. And I took the class again, because I was determined. I was like, I have to learn this. And I took it the second time, and I had this Bulgarian teacher. He was just really good. He was extremely good. And all of a sudden, it just clicked. And I had an easier time from there on out in my remaining 2 or 3 calculus classes that we had to take. Oh, sweet. It's War with Nagaron. I was hoping for that. Hey, Zlatko. Thanks for the 10. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate the chatting tonight and the support. Glad that someone else knew Alteryx too. That made me happy to meet a fellow person out there who understands what it is. Thank you so much, Zlatko. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Marcus is saying I use Power BI, and that's true. Power BI is also good for pulling the source data. I like it. I can't comment on the software Aaron's referring to, though. I've never used it. I think Power BI is pretty good at what it does. And they're like, for instance, like Tableau is probably a better visualization tool. Power BI maybe also. Like Alteryx is not great at visualization of data. It does have tools for it, and I don't know how to use them. So I mean, maybe it is the best, but those other tools I think are probably easier to report and visualize data to people in our company, but they're much, much weaker in terms of the capabilities that they have to go get that data and analyze it. So that's the biggest thing I'm scared of. Zlatko says, no worries, always enjoyed your Rome Total War campaigns, and it's a trip that we do very similar jobs. Yeah, that is kind of cool. I never imagined doing a job like I am, and it honestly wasn't even really the primary reason why they hired me originally in this job. They were kind of expecting me to be more of like a project manager, but as time went on for our team needed this skill set, and it just wasn't there. And they needed me to, I knew a little bit of it, and so I used it a couple of times to just kind of like bridge the gap on a project, and they needed more, and so I just kept taking more training and learning more as I went, and it just kind of became what it is, where that's what I focus on now. Calc and physics suck. I'm working on joining the Navy, got to go into medical. Yeah, calculus and physics can be really tough, and the two are related. Like if you depending on what kind of physics they require you to take. I mean, if you're going to take a true physics course, you have to know calculus in order to do it. However, they have like a non-physics version of it that kind of teaches you just using some algebra and stuff. But the two are definitely related, and getting a good handle on calculus will make physics much more tolerable for you. And what I would say is, if calculus is the struggle for you, take the time to find some people who are grasping it, try and study with them. You know, maybe look for stuff online, because like I said, I really struggled with it until I got, and I wish I can't remember his name right now. I just remember he was from Bulgaria, the professor I had. He was just such a good teacher, and if it weren't for him, I don't know if I would have ever understood it that well. But he the way he taught it, it just finally clicked with me, and I was finally able to feel like I was getting it. Gurov, that was his name. Professor Gurov. Yeah, he was awesome. I took Physics 1 and Physics 2. Yeah, I didn't like Physics 2. Physics 1 was pretty interesting. I think it was the Newtonian physics, and I enjoyed that. The Gaussian stuff, like all the electricity and magnetism, that's a lot harder for me to grasp. Also find a way to cheese math if possible. Hey, I mean, if you can do it, you get away with it. Sometimes cheesers gotta cheese, right? I should probably get off here. It's about time for me to get off for the night. These guys are not a hard one. Dang, I need a hard one because it counts towards it. Stay on just a couple more minutes. We got Malekith coming at us over here. Never good at school, got below average grades, but I always had a knack for logical problems. The school system is not the same for everyone. Yeah, exactly, Zlatko. School is not going to be the same for everybody. Some people just learn different. Like, I learn a lot better when I'm a lot less theoretical and I'm more practical and hands-on. So I could get through school, and I did pretty good in school all the way through college, but it still just wasn't quite right. You know, like it never really sat well with me. I had to work hard at it. But yeah, it's definitely not the same for everybody. Some people are just way better predisposed to learn the way their schools are set up, and some people are not. Hey, thanks, Marcus. He says, thank you, Air. Appreciate the video. Glad to see you back. It is good to be back streaming with you all. I love streaming with you all. It is always a pleasure. Let's go see if we can find Malekith here. That way I can set us up for a fun battle right when we start the new one. I am kind of thinking about making another army here. I want the Slan Mage. I need to go get Croak, too. Hope you and the family had a great vacation. We did, Marcus. It was fantastic. It was very relaxing, very enjoyable, very smooth. Everything went great. I sucked at subjects such as social theory, but got 100% first go at programming exam. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some stuff that's just not going to click for some people. And like I said, in high school, math really wasn't clicking for me. It wasn't until I had that one professor that, for whatever reason, it just clicked. Kind of took off for me. What do we need here? Scrying pool? I think a scrying pool built. Scrying pool. Bad Sheep, Young Master Air, hello, and hello chat. Thanks for being here, Bad Sheep. I wish I was young. I don't feel young. I guess I am young, depending on your perspective, but I don't feel young. But I feel happy. I'll say that. I don't always feel real young, but I certainly feel happy. I'll take that. I will take that. Alright. Where are we at here? Cult of Pleasure just got stronger. Cult of Pleasure has not federated with Nagaron. See Malekith anymore. He's probably fighting Elithanar, so his war with me is kind of odd here because I would think he is definitely fighting. Let's see. I tried 4 different careers in university, but nothing clicked. Yeah, that could get frustrating. Fortunately for me, I knew I wanted to be an engineer before I went to the university, and although my path changed from what I originally planned, like I thought I was going to work in aerospace as a mechanical engineer, my path changed, but at least the overall choice was close enough, right? And I ended up in the right thing, and I went and found, but yeah, I mean, that can be rough, and I understand why it's difficult for some people. That's why part of me wishes that grade schools, before you got to the university, spent a whole lot more time introducing you to different career ideas and options. At least the schooling I went to did not. I felt like they were preparing you to try to go to college, maybe, but they weren't preparing you to actually get interested in a career and have a job. So I wish schools would do a whole lot more of, like, you know, kind of showing the kids more options and, like, helping get them more interested in, like, hey, what should my career be? What would I enjoy? I need to learn more about it, and so I would love to see them focus more on that. I think it'd be more helpful. But I think a lot of people suffer that same issue. They get out of grade schools or, you know, whatever you call it. I don't remember the name for the education, but pre-college type education, and people just don't know what they want to do. And I think it's unfortunate because that should be more of a focus from the public school, in my opinion. And I think the other thing that this society, at least where I live, the one thing the society does wrong with school is just an opinion. Because obviously I don't run schools, but I think one thing they do wrong is they focus too much on higher education. And higher education is good. It's benefited me a lot. It will benefit a lot of people. But higher education via a university is not for everyone. And not everybody needs the university education for the jobs that they are going to work. Good example, for instance, a carpenter. A carpenter is not going to go to a university to learn how to be a carpenter. They need to apprentice with other carpenters, and they have to learn the skill from a master. And I feel like the schools where I am, at least, do not have any focus on vocational learning, and they only focus on higher learning. And so then you see these people get out of school, they have no idea what they want to do, and they go to these big colleges, and the big colleges are like, hey, how'd you like a whole bunch of student loans, and then we'll stick you in this degree over here, and then it'll be useless, and you're going to owe us 6 figures, and you won't have a job that pays you anything, but hey, thanks for coming to school. And like, I don't like that system. It's not good. People should know what you would want to go to a university for, hopefully, if school was doing their job right. And then not only that, but it would have also given them the option for vocational education as well, because not everybody needs to go to college. Now, I'm not on here like discouraging people from going to college, right? If you think that's the right decision for you, then go for it. It was for me, but it's not the case for everybody, right? And I'm just saying that honestly, like, and because I went to college, here's another thing too. I don't go around thinking I'm smarter than people because I have a college degree. I'm not. Like, I met welders who probably knew more about engineering than I did just by default because they've been welding for 40 years and they've just learned all this stuff, right? They've learned a lot. So it's another thing too, is like, don't think because you don't go to college, like, oh, it'll make me dumb and other people are smart. That's not necessarily true. You can be an expert on a lot of things, and some of those things are not learned in college. They're learned in other places. So what I would say is figure out what job's right for you. Go learn it, do it well, and be an expert at it. Like I said, I met a bunch of welders when I was in engineering school because we would have to go to the machine shop and have them help us machine things. I wish I had half the knowledge that these machinists or welders did. These guys had some incredible knowledge about what they were doing that would have been very beneficial to me, and I was jealous in a lot of ways of what they knew, but I also realized, you know, my job's going to be different, right? I don't have to know all the things they know, and they don't have to know all the things that I learned in school, and so it's kind of what we do, right? We all specialize in something. We all specialize in something. Block says I'm sitting here as a 12-year-old. Well, that's a good time to be thinking about what you want to do. It may change a couple times before you grow up, but it's good to start thinking about it. So yeah, I think it'd be cool if high school in the US had a vocational path. Like you would come into your freshman year and you would spend that whole year learning about both options, like higher education or vocational. And I wish they would just start, you know, helping you decide, and then when you go into your sophomore year, you've decided and you start going down one of those paths, right? And then by the time you're in your junior year, you start, like if you're on the vocational side, the school tries to get you apprenticing with someone. And like you go out and start learning a trade. And then by the time you graduate, you're that much farther ahead. If you're going to be vocational, you're that much farther ahead in having a good job. And if you're going to down to higher education, then great, you're going to be ready to go off to college at that point. Anyway, there's my 2 cents for what it's worth, which is probably 2 cents, maybe less. But just a couple thoughts. But I am not an education administrator, and so what do I know? I'm going to have to run for tonight, though. I've had a fun time streaming with you all, and a lot of fun conversations, too. A lot of fun conversations. So thank you, everybody, for having some awesome conversations with me tonight. Thank you for everybody who supported through donations and are supporting the channel. And then thank you, everybody else who was here either watching this live with us or watching it afterwards. You were all fantastic. I love making this content for you all, and I hope you can always tell when I'm making this stuff that I can enjoy making it for you, because I really do. And that's the important part to me, is hopefully you all constantly feel like that Air is happy to be here. I am. I had a great time. Thank you. Appreciate it. I will see you all Thursday with another stream. I'm going to be streaming multiplayer games with some of the new DLC stuff. So if you have the DLC, get ready to play with us. If you don't, just join in. We'll try and get you all participating however we can, whether it's helping me pick factions or whatever it is. So just feel free to join us. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you all soon. Keep your eye out for new videos, and then I will see you Thursday on the next stream.